Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you're watching for the first time. Click the notification bell. You can also like and share our videos. To all our supporters, I want to say thank you. May God bless you. After several days of acrimonious exchange between DP Rigathi Gachagua and Trade Minister Moses Kuria, Rigathi Gachagua decided to take the first step to reconcile the two offices. And in his Twitter handle, Rigathi showcases an attitude of an elder who is sending an olive branch to a younger brother to try and bury their differences. And on his Twitter handle, Rigathi Gachagua rushed to show Kenyans that they had a closed-door meeting that lasted for 4 hours. This meeting was a meeting that was arranged to engage other stakeholders, businessmen from Kajiado. And this is what he says. Continuous engagement is our mode of governance. This evening, in the company of my younger brother, Trade Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Moses Kuria, we had an engagement with businessmen from Kajiado County. We discussed challenges facing them in their businesses. Kajiado North MP Onesmus Ngogoyo was also at the meeting at the official residence in Karen. So, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting did not take place in Moses Kuria's office, neither did it take place in the official office of DP Rigathi Gachagua. And they decided that this meeting should take place at the current official residence of DP Rigathi Gachagua. In an African culture, when you invite people for a meeting at your home, it means you want to talk about serious matters, and it goes with delicacies. People have maybe luncheon or dinner. It was evening, and I believe that after discussion or before, they had some meals. In an African culture, whenever people want to reconcile, before or after, there must be a meal, because it was believed that people who dine together reconcile. And I want you to note that he is calling Moses Kuria his brother. In the Kenyan politics, whenever someone wants to play publicity or just PR, they would always try to call the perceived enemy a brother. Remember, there was a time when William Ruto first called a press conference and he invited Raila to drop the bid to hold the demonstrations, and he called him for a dialogue, and he called him for the first time my brother Raila Odinga. So when Rigathi Gachagua calls Moses Kuria my brother, it means he is sending an olive branch. He is really showing people that some kind of remorsefulness in his attitude. This meeting is coming against a backdrop of an acrimonious and emotional exchange. When Rigathi Gachagua came back from, trying to look for a market for our coffee, he came back, and on his Twitter handle, he really attacked Moses Kuria and David Ndii for their utterances about the skyrocketing prices of fuel. And he told Moses Kuria to tone down the rhetorics, to ensure that he does not demean Kenyans who elected the Kenya Kwanza team. And he told him that even though you are not elected, you have been selected by William Ruto to help drive the Kenya Kwanza agenda, and that gives you the mandate to be part and parcel of President William Ruto's route to achieving his agenda. Moses Kuria did not take this lightly. He did not take it lying down. He went to his Twitter handle, and it's something I believe it was very intentional, and he told Rigathi Gachagua, you're suffering from inferiority complex. Even though he didn't call his name, he said Nani, and experts know, because it doesn't need rocket science to understand whom he was talking to. And he quickly deleted that tweet. So people think it is either he was called by William Ruto and told him don't go that direction, or he just wanted to send a message, then delete it as if it was a stray message. Then Rigathi Gachagua in a funeral of a Field Marshal Mudhoni, told off people who are calling for the sacking of Moses Kuria, because there are people who had started talking about sack Moses Kuria, people like Boni Halwale, some voices from the UDA and the Kenya Kwanza. They wanted Moses Kuria to be sacked because they thought Moses Kuria had gone overboard, or he was he was disrespecting the DP. Rigathi Gachagua said that as Mount Kenya, they are united as long as their interests are taken care of. And so he said that they always hold their meetings at night, so people should not perceive their differences, their tweets, as if they are differences. And he said Moses Kuria is going nowhere. But in a twinkle of an eye, Moses Kuria went to Kisii and in Bondo somewhere, and Moses Kuria started talking about the sentiments that Rigathi Gachagua has always said, that the Kenya Kwanza is a company and those who voted for them are shareholders. And Moses Kuria said every Kenyan is a shareholder because they pay taxes. This did not go down well again with Rigathi Gachagua, and in a rejoinder he said he does not regret. He believes this is a shareholding company. Those who voted for them must have the lion's share of the national cake. So the war has continued. So in this meeting, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think Rigathi Gachagua was trying to achieve? Because in politics, as we always say, there must be a political goal that someone wants to achieve. Number one, Rigathi Gachagua wants to portray a picture that there is no differences within the UDA and between himself and Moses Kuria. Remember, people have always accused the Kenya Kwanza team and the UDA, to be very specific, as people who are engaged in outside matters, yet their house is burning. You know, they have been trying to meet rebel MPs from the ODM. They have been trying to rock Jubilee Party, yet in their own house things are not settled. There is a lot of political quagmire within the UDA, yet they forget their house and they're looking at the mess, or to mess up the other parties, the other coalition. So this is something that has been criticized, and Rigathi Gachagua wanted to move very fast to show that there are no differences, to show that even between himself and and Moses Kuria, there are no differences. Number two, he's trying to portray the image of an elder who is always trying to bring people together, because he doesn't want to be seen as someone who is at the epicenter of dividing their people. There is a meeting, a national governing meeting, that is supposed to happen at Bomas on 29th. This meeting is very acrimonious. From the sources, there are a lot of differences and they want to settle the scores on that day. So Rigathi Gachagua moved in very fast to ensure that before this meeting, they don't go there with their differences. The lobbying outside will ensure that when they get to Bomas, at least tempers have gone down. Because if they go in that meeting with such acrimony, then that meeting is going to be very chaotic. People will be pointing, accusing fingers to Rigathi Gachagua. And so he decided to do this very fast. Number three, Rigathi Gachagua has realized that he is being left alone in this war. The war that the Kenya Kwanza party, or the Kenya Kwanza government is a shareholding thing, is not going well with William Ruto. The other day you saw the majority chief whip Sylvanus Osoro told him off because there was a member of parliament when they were somewhere in Shinyalu in the western for a Harambe there. There's a member of parliament who went there and said that this is a shareholding company. That is why the people of Western were given something, because they voted for Kenya Kwanza. And Sylvanus Osoro was very mad. He told them off that now the honeymoon is gone. Kenyans want to see development. Kenyans want to see a proper plan on how they are going to connect electricity, to connect in infrastructure, the cost of living, what they promised Kenyans. And it was a warning that people believe was not meant for that particular member of parliament, because the author of the shareholding thing is Rigathi Gachagua. So it believed that this was meant to go to Rigathi Gachagua. And when you see Sylvanus Osoro talking, when you see Moses Kuria talking about a particular thing that has come from their bosses, then you know that there must have been a higher authority than Rigathi Gachagua. And this high authority can only mean William Samoei Ruto. And so William Samoei Ruto was obviously pissed off by these statements, especially at a time when they are trying to bring people together. They're looking at 2027. These sentiments are really very precarious for them. And this is why Rigathi Gachagua knew that he's on this alone, so he decided to reconcile. Because when your boss is not happy about something, obviously you can't keep on repeating it. The other thing is that Moses Kuria and Rigathi Gachagua come from the same area. And Rigathi Gachagua is obsessed about trying to unite Mount Kenya as a team. That is why anybody who seems to be a stumbling block on his way, like the Kenyatta family, anybody, any leader who also wants to appear as if he's an alternative voice, then must be dealt with. Remember people like Maina Njenga, who has got a chunk of youths with him, the Kenyatta family, Mwangi wa Iria. Moses Kuria has had a rough time. Rigathi Gachagua has had a very rough time with him. And so Rigathi Gachagua wants to ensure that he reconciles, he unites people together, because he knows very well that if we approach 2027 with the division, then it's not going to be very, very good for him, because after 27, he believes he must also go for the bigger ball, the big of his state house, and he wants to go with it together. He wants to tell Mount Kenya that he's not a man who's busy dividing leaders, and he wants to show them that I'm reconciling Moses Kuria. That's why he calls him a younger brother. He knows very well that Moses Kuria is a hard nut to crack. You don't joke around with Moses Kuria, especially when Moses knows very well that you are not the appointing authority. Moses knows very well that the appointing authority here is the president, and the president is obviously protecting Moses Kuria. You cannot mess up with your deputy president if you are not getting protection from William Ruto. And so he knows very well that if you go for Moses Kuria, you must be prepared. In this country, there are people you don't joke around with. Moses Kuria, the likes of Sonko, they will get into your bedroom and they will spill the beans. For example, Moses Kuria can just wake up and say, I will say how we rigged elections. Whether that is true or not, at a time when people are struggling with, do we open the server? Did William Ruto really win the legitimacy issue? He can come up with it. So he knows very well who to mess with. He knows very well that Moses Kuria is a checkmate in Central, because William Ruto knows very well that there are people he has put there, he has appointed to ensure that they checkmate Moses Kuria. And I want also to believe that maybe these pictures are just mere PR. Because Rigathi Gachagua ni nani? A truthful man. He can share pictures today, in the next minute, he is fighting Moses Kuria with very strong words. He doesn't care. So it could also just mean that this could be a mere PR, public relations to show people that we are together, yet he's got a very strong, there's a strong enmity between the two of them. And so this meeting was very crucial. That is why he even decided to show pictures of only the two of them in Karen.